Greetings in the greetings in the love and light of the one infinite creator. I am Andre, and I'm joined here today with Ed and Bill, and we are going to be reading the Law of One session, February 10, 2024, which is about integrating higher self-wisdom, a dialogue with spiritual evolution. All right. So, Bill. Oh well, okay. Bill's busy.
One sec. I'll be with you in a sec.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll read it for now. Wanderers' higher selves and their role in planetary evolution. Spiritual growth and service through meditation. Spirituality, depression, and service. Spiritual growth and service to others. Charging money for service, discerning and seeing the truth, spirituality and the Great Awakening, various sources of the planetary population, population growth, and spiritual evolution on the Earth, chakra colors, joy healing, and samadhi experiences. So that's a summary of all the different things that are being covered in this, and this is most likely a public session, considering how many different topics are covered. And so members of the public joined Jim and Gary and Trish and Austin, and asked Kuo through them as channels. Okay. Bill, did you want to help with any of the reading?
Whenever you want, let me know.
Okay, here, you want to read this first part?
Okay.
Do you know how to... Yeah. It's big enough for you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Kuo, and I'm with this instrument at this time. We are happy to join your circle of seeking this day and to be with such an inspiring group of mind, body, spirit complexes that have many questions about the nature of the universe, their beingness, their seeking of the one in all things. We're most happy to be able to respond to such queries. But before we do, we would ask you to be aware that we are not infallible beings. We are those who have walked the same path you walked, and perhaps a step or two further. And what we share with you is our opinions. If what we share does not have the ring of truth to you, whatever does not have that ring, then we ask you to set it aside, that it may not provide any stumbling block in your path. If you would grant us this favor, then we would speak more freely to you in our attempts to answer your queries. May we ask if there is a query with which we may begin?
All right. Hi, Kuo. This issue S. I do have a question. May I ask? Okay. We are those of Kuo. Please do ask your query, my brother. Thank you. When a sixth density wanderer by choice returns to third density for service, and then begins a reincarnative journey in third density space-time, is there still a third density being or some other form that remains in time-space, acting in the capacity of its higher self? I'm not sure if this question is phrased in the best way possible, but I'm interested to understand the energetic or vibratory interplay between sixth density and third density in the context of a wanderer. Additionally, if in third density a conscious connection is made between third density and sixth density, how might this expansion of identity be of greater service to the one creator, both across space-time and time-space? All right. Bill?
That's a good question.
Oh, you want me to go?
Oh, yeah, sure. You don't have to read the whole thing, but, a paragraph or something.
I'm a Kuo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. When wanderers incarnate within that third density illusion, there is usually a preponderance of these wanderers that are from the sixth density. For the third density is a very challenging density, having the veil of forgiving so that the nature of reality is not seen as unity, but is seen as seeming separation. So when a wanderer of sixth density comes to planet Earth and goes through the forgetting process, there is available to that wanderer, as there is to each entity within the third density, the higher self, that may be able to communicate with the wanderer when the conditions are appropriate. That is to say, when the wanderer within the third density has a question as to direction in the spiritual path, or how to ameliorate a difficulty that has created or has experienced, then sometimes it is possible to make that contact so that a clearer picture may be seen by the wanderer within third density.
All right. Now, this is the process through which all entities, be they wanderers or third density beings, may access the higher self. However, since many wanderers are indeed of the sixth density, the higher self that they access is the higher self's higher self, which is called the mind-body-spirit complex totality that exists within the seventh density. Thus, there is still a kind of hierarchy, shall we say, of contacts that are possible for the wanderer of sixth density. Bill? Or Ed, you wanted to say something?
Wait a sec, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's implying, across the board, that is a self, be it however steps higher, inside seventh density. It's the first time I've ever heard that mentioned.
Yeah, everyone has a sixth density higher self.
Everyone has a sixth density higher self.
Yes.
But once you reach 7, all personality is lost.
No,
Your sense of self is lost.
that's not true.
That is saying
That's not
that
true.
A sixth density entity has a higher self.
Yes.
Meaning that would need to be self inside seventh density, which I thought the whole point was when you get to 7, yourself, what you are, the sense of self, is merged with the creator.
No. That's not correct. No, seventh density is it's about exploring timelines.
Well, we're talking, they describe it as a mind, body, spirit complex totality. So it's, because we're in sixth density, so we're from sixth density, then we're technically already, we could be halfway along in sixth density, so we're already the higher self, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of saying, well, you kind of don't need the higher self because you kind of are the higher self, but you have access to this entity in seventh density, your mind, body, spirit complex totality. That's how they would explain it. And I would agree with Andre that, well, I don't know personally, or I haven't really read anything where they say you lose your identity, but I would still think there is a little bit of separation, but an awareness of this, but you're almost, because we don't know what happens in that at the next octave. Even Ra and those guys haven't really said what happens. They frankly say, we don't know what happens because nobody's really telling us, and we haven't experienced it yet. So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
well,
you know?
it just Ra does explain in several, at least Kuo explains in several passages. For example, he says that the Guardians are 8th density that sit on the Council of Saturn. So those are entities, they're beings with an identity, and also Guardians are the source of the light that you see at the end of your life that you're going towards, and the 7th density entities are the ones looking at, are standing at the density lines and then to see how close you've gotten, to see if you've crossed the line or not, from 3rd to 4th density.
I understood, from what I understood, was that the Council of 9 or whatever, they're essentially like the same as the what's it called, the Prism of Valyria, the kind of the 12 archetypal kind of minds that are the like next step down. So they would be above 7, but they're not really personalities like we've grown and whatever. They're more made from the top down rather than built from the top up.
I disagree. Personally,
no, dude, I'm just taking my taking from it. If you
well, personally, it makes sense to me. Like I have a 12 density system, right?
Yeah.
And then like, so 8th is a locality, you know, it's like some other 8th density beings would be ones that manage like a hive mind of 2nd density beings. And then the 9th density being would be a planetary mind, like Gaia. And then a 10th density being would be a star, like our sun.
Where do you get this information?
This is from the Pleiadians. And
this is information you got yourself.
Well, from the Pleiadians, yeah.
But it's like not somebody else saying it's from the Pleiadians. It's you saying it's from the Pleiadians.
No. I read it from a channeling. So they had a 12 chakra channeling.
Okay.
So that they explained the 12 chakras. And then it's a very simple inference.
But the way I understand it is that when you get to 6, 7 density, the kind of lessons you need to learn change. So, you then have above you have the Christ consciousness, which is what you step up, where your heart chakra moves down. Then you've got the Buddhic consciousness. Then you've got the, right, and so you've got those extra steps up. But, when you talk about densities, really I feel that kind of like no one's really told us more what happens 7 on. Obviously, you'd expect there to be people that know, and like you said, everyone seems to respect the Council of Saturn, so you'd think they'd be up the food chain a bit. And if Ra's right at that 6, 7 boundary, but no one seems to really know much. And wait a second, the reason that I said that Tom of the Nine is like a step down rather than a step up is because that's what Tom of the Nine says.
I'm not familiar with their material, so I can't comment.
Well, I know in the Confederation, they do say, like Andre said, that those in the next density watch the stairs of light. Mm-hmm. Watch the beings go up on the and I haven't seen, unless you guys have seen more detailed than that. That's all I've seen as far as Confederation material.
I thought that was the diva entities that see every step up. I don't know. I don't think.
Well, in the Confederation, are you talking about the Confederation literature or something else? Because in the Confederation,
they describe them as divas a few times, kind of like equating.
I'm not aware of any reference to divas in the Confederation.
Okay,
material.
I have to say, I've only remember that from one of the what's it called? Reality Revolution podcast things.
Okay. I think they must have been mixing it up with something else.
No, because he's talking about kind of like what happens.
Okay, I found two mentions of divas over the last 50 years. Here, one mention. Indeed, from 2003, many entities even now are repairing their little bit of the planetary surface by loving and talking to the Earth, by cooperating with this instrument, would call nature deities or divas, by relating to the surroundings of self with the understandings that all things are alive, all things work in rhythm and in harmony, and all things except those sunk in the mire of third density forgetting, not only love each other, but know that they are one. Okay, and then the next...
Either way.
So it's talking about divas as little nature entities.
About them the same way we describe fairies or whatever.
Yes, exactly. And from 2006-0401, it says, there are so many sources of guidance around you that to discuss them to depth is impossible, but we can simply name them. They include, as you call them, angels. There are many varieties of angels. Pixies, elves, fairies, nature divas, and spirits of all kinds. And the essence of the elements. And their spirits, such as the undines, sylphs, naiads, dryads, and all of the totem with which you have been associated in past lives.
So. Okay, that's it's odd. Like I said, maybe I got the sources mixed up, but
okay.
Yeah.
Would those be a lot of thought forms as well, or
probably
real entities?
Yeah, they would. In third density, they would be thought forms, but apparently in fourth density, you can interact with them more physically. If you were incarnated in a fourth density body.
If you're looking at the actual kind of occult view on them, they're basically elemental beings that help everything on the planet run. We just can't see them because they vibrate at different density or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The veil.
Right.
That's it. So, we don't know they're there, but they're there making every single thing run on how it's supposed to.
Okay. Hey, the only thing I'd appreciate is if we're going outside of Confederation material, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Really sorry, dude. I bounce around all over the place, man. I'm not very good at remembering where I got information.
That makes it confusing to what we're actually focusing on. So we're
You say
focusing on.
that, but I find that you can broaden the scope and realize that all of these things are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And that right there is really quite
All
powerful.
right, just
I'll make
do
sure
me a favor and
get
just
my
differentiate
strong.
that.
Yeah.
Just do me a favor and differentiate that and say, hey, here's something outside the literature that
Yeah, like,
is,
I actually
that's
thought
supportive.
I thought that stuff was in there.
Mhm.
Like I
Okay.
said, like I got confused where I got it from.
All right.
But
We're
normally
going
I
to read
do
the next
say-
paragraph now. Okay. The type of contact that you're speaking of with the higher self or with the mind body spirit complex totality is that which aids the wanderer in its performing and accomplishing its mission upon the planet Earth. For each wanderer not only lightens the vibrations of the planet by its very being, but also is able to bring to the planet various talents and skills that may be discovered by the wanderer as it goes through the life experience. The wanderer may not discover that it is a wanderer, or it may discover that, and yet the talents are more likely to manifest as pre-incarnative choices, so that the wanderer is able to offer its love and light in a general sense to those with whom it comes in contact. This can be done by any means that is available to the wanderer, whether it is work it does for a living, the neighborhood in which it lives with friends and neighbors that it may aid, and those that it meets on the streets and that are strangers. This type of service is that which emanates from the heart center of the wanderer and makes it possible for it to be of service that it chose to be of before incarnation began. May we answer further, my brother? Bill?
Are you reading in an English access there?
It's just it's easier and it's more like channely.
All right.
And it's awesome.
You sound like James Bond or Q or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's
I am English and I love it. It's awesome.
glad you like it.
Okay, just a follow-on question. If a conscious connection is made by the third density entity with its sixth density counterparts or seventh density counterparts, does that interplay also have significance in time-space? I am cool and aware of your query, my brother. Not only does it have significance in time-space, the very action of the work of the wanderer through the service that it has to offer, through that connection that is made, originates in time-space, for time-space is the truer nature of reality. The space-time that you experience on your planet Earth this time is that which is, as we have said before, a kind of seeming separation that does not notice or recognize the unity of all things. So indeed, the time-space is most important in the connection that is made with a wanderer and the services that it has to offer. Is there any further query, my brother? No, thank you. That was helpful.
All right, great. So I'm gonna get a summary here. See if we missed anything from ChatGPT. Because I made a version of that is loaded with the Confederation material. So it will give us a in-context view. Okay.
Bill, we call it Robo-Ra.
Title, summary, and
Well,
points for seekers regarding... Okay, just take it down this. Okay. All right, so do you guys have any reflections on that last bit? That last answer? I'm not even 100% sure what it was.
It's like it's saying that all a wanderer has to do is just come here. Doesn't really matter. They're doing their job just by being here.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It's pretty self-explanatory too, as far as whatever happens here happens kind of in time-space. If you're contacting your whatever higher self or totality, mind, body, spirit complex, it's the profoundness happens in the time-space realm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes
As
sense.
it's closer to reality.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in space-time, realistically, it doesn't matter what point you exist in, right? Time, space.
What do you mean? Space-time is...
If you exist in
Yeah,
time,
okay.
space, then it doesn't really matter what point in time, space you exist in, right? Really? It's all one thing, right? So the time bit doesn't matter. So, really the only place that difference between this point and that point is going to matter is inside space-time, where you've got the distortion of space.
Yes. So let's see if the summary was accurate. Okay. It was saying, oh my gosh. It was saying the 6th density wanderers retain a connection with their higher selves, generally a 6th or 7th density aspect, which guides them in their 3rd density missions. This higher self acts as a beacon, aiding in spiritual navigation and decision-making amidst the veil of forgetting inherent in 3rd density life. So I guess you've got something you're going towards. And by incarnating...
You got that beacon.
Yes. By incarnating in 3rd density, 6th density wanderers contribute significantly to the vibration of the planet, offering their advanced spiritual insights and energies. Their presence and actions, consciously or unconsciously, help alleviate the spiritual and existential challenges faced by 3rd density beings. Interplay between densities. The dynamic interaction between the 3rd and 6th densities through the wanderer's experience facilitates a unique expansion of consciousness and identity. This expansion allows a greater flow of spiritual energy, service to the one creator. The wanderer's journey in the conscious to higher densities serves the one creator by manifesting love and light in the 3rd density, promoting harmony and spiritual awakening. Not only accelerates the wanderer's own spiritual progression, but also supports the overall essential and planetary consciousness. And it's a continuous cycle. Each interaction faced provides valuable lessons.
Okay,
Right.
in point number 3, what do you think they mean by expansion?
The expansion allows for a greater flow of spiritual energy and service across both space-time and time-space dimensions, enhancing the collective evolution towards unity and understanding.
Well, it says the point before that, the bullet
Oh.
point says, the Wanderers facilitates a unique expansion. Oh, okay, expansion of consciousness and identity.
Oh, okay.
Would it be identity because you're knowing yourself more?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, like, I've done a lot of identity work, like investigating my past lives and haplogroups and all sorts of things that are identity related. And this is my little service to the world. The planetary consciousness is posting these on Twitter. These analysis. All right.
Well,
Are you serious? They're posting them on Twitter in real time?
Yeah, in real time. Did you just see that? Yeah.
I'm not on Twitter.
And this is on. This whole thing that we're doing is streamed right now, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Andre's got it covered from all angles, man. He's like a full-on cyber mage.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Is there another query? Okay.
Can I say,
Yeah, go
speaking
ahead.
of past lives, I did a crazy meditation earlier today,
Mhm.
and had all me kind of roots going down into the ground and pillar light going up and everything. But I was kind of zoomed in on my roots going down into the earth, and
Mhm.
it's like each root was like a different past life. And I had this, it is an awesome system, man. I was just jumping in and out of incarnations all over the place.
Mhm.
Awesome, man. I'm going to do that again because it was so cool. Anyway, I digress.
Sounds good. Yeah. There's so many of them. You know, it's like there was a satiation point for me. It's like, okay, I know enough. You know, if I need to know more, I'll come back. But it's enough for now.
Similar thing, because so many of them were just mundane and boring.
Oh yeah.
I was bouncing around like plowing a field, and
Mhm.
bouncing around like this random thing, this random. Then I was on a battlefield and I died really quick. Then I was somewhere else. It was literally, I was just bouncing in and about of different events in people's lives that I somehow knew.
Mhm.
It was an incredibly weird experience, but you know, meditation's great, right?
Yeah. Yes, I have one that I think was floated around the circle, but it is, what can we do to develop and deepen our meditation and allow ourselves to receive more guidance from our higher self? And that is through meditation and through dreams. But what can we do to, I guess, develop consistency with it? That's pretty much it. Bill?
I'm cool, and and am aware of your query, my brother. We find that you have, in essence, answered a portion of your own query by saying that to develop a practice on a regular basis is most helpful in your seeking of guidance from any sources, be they the higher self, your deeper mind, the one creator, the guides that you have with you in each incarnation. By setting an intention, you provide yourself a foundation stone upon which to build in a daily practice. The meditational technique of seeking the guide that is most appropriate to you at this time, whether it be the higher self, the male guide, the female guide, the androgynous guide, or the synchronicity and coincidences that occur in your life pattern, that confirm to you that the path that you are seeking is that which is most efficacious for you to travel. There is within each seeker of truth the desire to be more of service in their life path, as you have stated, is true for you. And this desire is that which we may also call the will, which can be enhanced by the faith. Thus, if you have the will to be of greater service and to learn more and to serve more and to be more, then you can use the faith that is possible to propel that will, shall we say, into manifestation in your life pattern and in your daily round of activities.
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys want to discuss that? It was.
Well,
go ahead.
I just want to you go up a little bit. I wanted to remark on when they talk about faith, it doesn't seem like they're talking about all is well, all will be well. It's more like I mean, it can be part of it.
Faith that it will be well.
Or is it faith that your desire can be strong?
So in here, there's faith. Okay. There is within each seeker of truth the desire to be more in the service in their life path, as you have stated true. And this desire is that which we call the will, which can be enhanced by the faith.
By the faith. That's what I'm talking about.
So
how is it, okay, so is it enhanced when you have this desire that the enhancement is knowing that all is well and all will be well? And that enhances the desire?
I don't know if that does. I think will and desire are different.
Look, the way I see it is much kind of from a magical perspective. Yeah, you know, they say that will is the point. You know, like will over love, like will. What is it? Love is the law, but love under will. Right? That's the Aleister Crowley quote. Right? So the idea being that, you know, our will.
Aleister Crowley?
Yeah. You'd be amazed at how much.
At least he cited his sources this time.
All right.
What's that?
He said, "All right."
What's wrong with Aleister Crowley?
What's that?
Oh,
what's wrong with Aleister Crowley?
Well, he didn't graduate. He didn't graduate.
The Satanist.
You know,
the guy who claimed he killed hundreds of boys in a year.
I'm sure he claimed lots of things, but I doubt it. Anyway, can I just say, if you read any of his work, you'd be amazed at how much of it crosses over with the Law of One, like in exactness, exactly. As I've read quite a bit, so I could honestly, it's very, very similar. You know, it's probably just the fact it interfered with Christianization that caused many problems. But he only interfered with it the same way that Ra does, really. You know,
sure.
he breaks it down into things that we understand. Anyway, I just completely forgot what I was bloody saying. Controversy of who said it has completely ruined what I was saying.
ChatGPT answered your question.
Yeah,
Hold
you got to get your will and your intention is what you set before you commit any magical process. Right? That intention is what you want to put out into the world. Now, whatever way you do that, like it said, you know, speaking to higher powers, whatever else, you know, whatever way that you choose to do it, yeah, your will kind of be in the thing that changes stuff in comparison to the faith, yeah, being the belief in yourself or belief in any system that will get that to occur. Right, so faith, therefore, is the thing that helps your will to become, the creator's path or whatever it is that he said in the quote. I can't fully remember it.
Yeah.
But it works exactly the same way that they talk about magic anyway. The same idea.
Okay. Well, Cosmic Advisors says that integrating will and faith, use your will to actively pursue spiritual growth and service, supported by faith in the possibility of your own transformation and the effectiveness of your path. So will is like, I want to do this thing. And then faith is, I will accomplish this. Is the belief that you will accomplish what you want to do.
Or the belief that the universe will accomplish it if you commit these magical acts.
Sure. Well, whatever. That it'll get accomplished.
Well, Kuo says a great deal of faith is patience. A great deal of will is persistence.
Totally.
So I guess the faith that they're talking about can be patience as well.
Patience is more like love.
What's that?
Patience is more like love or time. Time is after love, time is the second most common word in the Confederation of Planets material. And apparently it's a synonym for love, time. Just like light is a synonym for space.
Thinking like, once again, in my meditation earlier, is like time is like, it's like it. Oh, it's really weird to explain. Don't worry, I don't know whether I could explain it.
I have one. Thanks, Kuo. As I'm reading more books on the metaphysical, it is my subjective understanding that the veil here on Earth is being intentionally lifted, ever so slightly, so that humankind can become more adept and magical. For lack of a better word, with the intent to better unify us together more collectively as we transition into fourth or fifth density. If that is indeed the case, what are some things to look out for here as this progresses? And is there anything we can do in our limited capacity to help with this progression? Bill?
I'm cool, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. There is indeed a greater and greater influx of the fourth density vibrations that is engulfing your planet at this time, and which has been occurring for a great portion of your time as you would measure time. This allows many of who are what you would call the conscious spiritual seekers of truth to begin to penetrate that veil of forgiving and to experience a greater nature of the reality of the world about them. Seeing more of the unity, the love of the Creator within the self and within other selves, and to be of service by sharing that greater apprehension and love vibration with those about one. However, for those who are not what you would call the conscious spiritual seekers of truth, there is less of an opportunity to take advantage of the thinning of the veil, for there is the inability to perceive that such is possible, that such might be a portion of one's life path. This is the reason that there is so much dissension and disharmony upon your planet at this time. For the energies that are engulfing your planet are not being perceived by many as that which is perceivable. They are unaware that this is possible. They move through their life patterns, continuing as they have from the past to the present to the future. It is hopeful that people such as yourself, who are conscious spiritual seekers of truth, may use this increased knowledge and experience of the true nature of reality as being unity, full of love and light, to share this love and light with those about one. To be, as shall we say, the seed that is cast onto the ground with the hope that it will sprout when watered by your love and light, and by the love and light and others that are like you, who move through their incarnation experiences and seek to be of service in the same manner.
Very good. Very good. You guys want to comment on that?
Well, the only thing I have to say is you got to believe that things are possible, and that's what a lot of people fall short.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was at with the thing, like the idea that this magical ritual, whatever you do, will only work if you have faith and belief that it will. It's only people like us that have those kind of thoughts that those things might be possible.
Yeah.
So without that kind of magical thinking, the fourth density isn't possible.
Well, I know the Confederation has defined infinity and eternity has endless possibilities. So when you look into those terms, it's connected to endless possibilities. And that's what the creator is doing, experiencing its creation that it split itself into in endless possibilities.
Nope.
So believing in endless possibilities is a very good thing, in my opinion.
For sure. ChatGPT thought I was a robot. Because I was speaking in such a regularized way.
Oh, there you go. Maybe
Yeah.
it was me.
Yeah. Well, it can't hear you, but in terms of what I was telling it,
Okay.
it made me go through
All
one
right.
of those captchas. Prove you're a human.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
yeah. So understanding fourth density, the current. Go ahead.
And you dude.
Enhance the perception of creator among all beings. Is meant to thin the veil of forgetting, allowing clearer understanding of our true interconnected nature. Many individuals remain unaware, and it's particularly challenging to them. I think one of the things that Ko didn't mention here is that people who don't process their catalyst manifest disease, and that makes them feel really bad because they're diseased, and then they're like upset, and like they have resentments, and they're angry, and that kind of brings the energies down. And then our role as conscious seekers is to help them kind of process that catalyst well, so that they're free of disease, so that they can be healed, and that they can start spreading love and light throughout the world. And it's a continual growth.
That's one thing. But for me, I find that like a large chunk of people that you meet don't even understand that that any of this is important and should be important to them. Once we understand these things, it is our responsibility to shine the light, to show them what really they deserve to know, what's been hidden, that we should have all been doing, but no one told us. Like this. I don't know how once you've read this stuff, you can't be telling other people and trying to bring them to the truth, as it were, or a higher understanding at least.
Well, Ra gives us a clear option where he says, you can ignore all of creation if you want to. And when people do that, it's up to us to love and accept it, because unless they're going to make the steps to become seekers themselves, there's not a lot we can do. You just kind of got to love and accept how they are and wish them well, send them love and light, and and if they're doing anything too crazy, you got to avoid them if you have to.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I feel that's important. Everything should do that, but I feel that I don't know. Not enough people have been given enough information. I find that they even know that they should be making these choices. So I can lay out a little tiny bit of the framework to make them think, to make them look a little bit more into themselves or into something wider. Then I feel that I'm doing them service if I can. But a lot of people don't want to know, and you can't force it on them.
I think we got to remember the environment we're in, where these SDS forces, the Orion group, and these guys have been purposely hammering humanity for thousands of years to avoid to look at these spiritual questions, to actually, go within, to look at ourselves, to be self-aware, to, reflect. I mean, people don't like to reflect on what they're doing. They don't like to reflect on their emotions, their feelings. They don't, most people, and it's a cultural training, especially from the West. And, and I think nefarious SDS forces have been behind that for a real long time. So, and hence why Wanderers came into this place, what did, when they asked Ra, hey, Maldek blew up, Mars, blew up. Atlantis had problems. There hasn't been a harvest since Ra on Venus, and they basically said, well, we've become concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Ra's harvest didn't really go well.
Well, but at least there was one.
Yeah. The point is what Ra spoke about how 2 people turned up and they kind of ruined the harvest for everybody and only a few people got through. You could argue that that's what these people have been doing to us for thousands of years.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think we need to have a lot of mercy and love on people here because of the environment that they're in. Because the only person you can change and affect really is yourself. If you can put seeds out there, and you can maybe get somebody to ask a question. Maybe you can. But it's this is a real tough place.
100%.
Bill, can you read this question? And then I'll read the answer.
Yeah, I have a query. This is N1. Is there a role for traditional religion in assisting spiritual seekers today who have found that traditional religion has no meaning for them?
I am Kuo, and am aware of your query, my sister. We are aware that there are many who have the feeling that the traditional religions upon your planet have, shall we say, atrophied, and have become so stiff in their dogmatic positions that there is no flexibility to see beyond that which has been practiced for a great many of your years. Thus, this is what is the problem, shall we say, with many traditional religions. But we would also suggest that it is to the pure seeker of truth, there is a path to the one infinite creator within the self and within all of the creation around one. By practicing the more, shall we say, mystical aspects of any traditional religion, for each religion upon your planet has the more mystical aspects, that does not have the dogmatic attitudes that this or that is right, and this or that is wrong, but sees that the path of the pure spiritual seeker is that which can see the Creator in all about one, can share the love of the Creator with all about one. Thus, it is more the case that one who utilizes any traditional religion may utilize it as an efficient tool, shall we say, to move further along their own spiritual path of opening their heart in unconditional love to those about them. All right. So, yeah. So that
brought up a few thoughts for me. Have you guys ever heard of the writer Joseph Campbell? No?
I don't know who that is.
Mythologist.
Oh, yes, the one that did the hero's journey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy. Okay, right. So he in one of his books he talks about how every single shamanic religion, before actual religion started, when you actually just had tribes and you had a shaman that went off into the wilderness, normally ate a load of psychedelics, and then came back to the tribe with information to help them. Yeah, he said that across the board, every single shamanic religion on the planet came back and told their tribes the same things. Yeah, like they were channeling straight up law of one information before we had any religions. Right? So that I thought was very, very interesting for what that was just said, that the path inside us will always lead us to the same place. That's why all of these shamanic religions that didn't rely on dogma all told the same thing. Right then, when you actually look at the dogmatic religions that came after, yeah, if you read them exoterically, like what's written there, yeah, they're all different and they're all a load of nonsense. There's horrible stuff in all of them. But if you read them esoterically, as in you take it apart and you understand the metaphors written inside them and the mythologies that they're trying to teach, yeah, then every religion tells exactly the same story. All of them. They're the same story in every single book. Right?
Well,
and then when you look at, but like I said, you've got to break apart what's on the page into components and then compare the components. They're the same.
Not every religion is easy to make into to find the service to others path in it. Like Hinduism and Talmudic Judaism, it's very, very difficult. It's going against the grain. You have to try really hard. You're swimming against the current in those kinds of religions. If you're following Jesus' discipleship, and then it's easy. So there are differences. It is possible, but in some religions it's easier, in others it's more difficult.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying that all of them have got ascension mechanics. All of them have got specific rules, specific things that are essential, that meet up with the law of one, and are universal to all of us. Right? Don't get me wrong. There's differences. There's blah blah blah. This different, that different. But when you break them all down, they're too similar to deny. Yeah, you've just got to understand the story. Yeah, that they're all telling. Yeah, and you've got to understand what the different components are. And then, dude, I went through, after reading the Law of One, I went back, I read the Bible, I read the Hindu Vedas, I read the Buddhist, literally the whole entire of religion as we have it. And every one, I was pulling apart and saying, that is the same as this. That is the same as that. That is what Ra described as this. That is what Ra described as that. It's all the same information's in there, but it's hidden in such a way that unless you're looking for it, you're not going to know it's there.
Yes.
Right?
And it may be divergent, and you may be able to find things and interpret them in a way that is very divergent from the mainstream dogmatic view in that religion.
Exactly. But that's the exoteric versus esoteric
but
view of it.
seeking you shall find. If you want to find something, you will, wherever you look. Yeah.
Which, once again, see the creator in all things, right?
Mm-hmm.
However these people interpreted the information that they got, that's a personal and a cultural thing, like the Joseph Campbell thing says. There's very colloquial ways of interpreting that information, but they all had the same information.
There's definitely common elements. Okay, so I have one IMD, and the topic of interest to me, and the question that I have is around my perception of societal depression. It seems to me that there is more of it of late than I recall. But perhaps that's just my impression, because it's recently struck closer to home. So my question is actually two. Is my perception correct? Is there a general increase in depression among society? And the second is, what can I do to help alleviate that? What can others do to help alleviate that? Bill?
Before we go on to answer,
okay,
I had my thing on mute because I got Olivia coming in.
Oh, okay. Did you want me to read it, or?
No, I wanted to comment on what we were talking about.
Comment. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the important part when they were talking about that is a lot of spiritual seekers could start to vilify mainstream religions and other religions because of just how, like they said, how dogmatic it is and stuff like that. And so I think the important thing to get out of what they really said was in order to open our hearts more, we can look at all this stuff that, the esoteric, the metaphysical parts of these religions, and we can have more sympathy and compassion to those people in the religions, and it could, help us open our hearts more instead of, because it's real easy to vilify mainstream religions these days, especially what we've known that they've been doing for so long. So we have to kind of separate the letter of the law, if you will, versus the spirit of the law, and give those people a break. And then, if we, I know Andre goes to regular Christian church and he enjoys it. He enjoys the people and the message, but he totally believes in, he's got a much expanded viewpoint. So, but I think that's the important, so it's kind of why they brought that up there. And the Confederation is always kind of telling us to look for the good, the creator in all things, really. And then to help us open our hearts, because we're constantly trying to open our hearts more and more.
Yeah, for sure.
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly, something you said there reminded me of another thing, like the there's something that the Arcturians said. Don't worry, I can't remember it now. Anyway,
All right.
so wait, I do remember.
Okay.
Okay, so they said that there's 3 sources that we should be taking our understanding from to help in our spiritual growth. And they said that obviously you've got the alien sources like Ra and Arcturus and that. They said you've got like the White Brotherhood or whatever it is, although that's a kind of weird name if you ask me. But like the angels and the kind of that side of it. But it also says that on Earth, a lot of the old tribal religions and a lot of the older, more ancient religions here have got real truth that we should be taking advantage, we should be learning from. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would agree with that.
They had like a little triangle diagram and everything where each side all adds up together. It's kind of cool.
All right. Hey, when we go on, Andre, can we read the question again and then go on?
Sure. Okay, so my question is actually 2. Is my perception correct? Is there a general increase in depression among society? And the second is, what can I do to help alleviate that? What can others do to help alleviate that?
You want me to read the answer?
You can if you want. Otherwise I can.
Okay.
Okay.
I cool and I am aware of your query, my brother. The quality of the mental depression that you speak of is oftentimes a product of what you might call the cultural collapse of the ability to use the catalyst of change that is occurring upon your planet at this time. There is so much frustration and anger and the feeling of being unable to deal with the difficulties that require change, and the expansion of one's perception of those about one has being that of a loving nature, and that which is more of the creator within that has been expressed. When this is not able to be experienced because of the feeling of overload, you might say, then the mind and the emotions become overtaxed with the feeling, both conscious and subconscious, that the world about one is falling apart, when it is in truth that which is within each self that has the difficulty in finding the true nature of reality as being that of the love of the one creator. When that can be done by a person such as yourself or any conscious seeker of truth, that this is that which is the cure, shall we say. The image or experience within the depressed mind that there is a spark of love that has been sent forth to them, and that this is something that is a real portion of the reality and can counterbalance that original feeling of depression due to much instability, catalysts of anger, depression, because there is so much to do, so much to perceive, so much to process. Thus, you can be of great service by shining your light and your love to those whom you meet, whether it is in your community, your work, and in any place that you are with others. This is a great task, a great joyous service that each conscious spiritual seeker of truth may offer to those about them.
Yes, that's a nice message. And
that is a good message.
And it dovetails basically with what I was saying before, that with the earlier one that they were talking about the people on the planet, the ones that aren't aware of the spiritual progress, they're the ones that are getting depressed and stuff and other such diseases because they're unable to deal with the catalyst. And that they're saying, if you're that love and light in their life, then that will give them a beacon. You'll be their higher self there.
Can I say, as somebody who does suffer from this wave of, whatever, I've found, since this whole spiritual journey, that I think that the lack of spiritual teaching and awareness in the West causes a situation where you don't really have any way of recognizing that it's spiritual pain that's making you depressed. Yeah, we're not taught these things in any way in the West. They're not, the skills that you need to recognize that the pain that you feel inside is this lack of connection to something greater. That's not Like I wouldn't say that the Western religion or Western culture really provides a very good gateway to feel that, to connect to that. So, and I think that without that, it's very, very easy to be depressed. And I've found that knowing that I am connected to something bigger and being able to use that the overcoming of catalyst as and have a reason to know why these things are happening, to be able to put my faith and my trust in something else, those are things that have helped me dramatically. But they've only really helped since I've had the context in which Ra provides. Before that point, if anything, I'd say that the lack of real spiritual guidance has only made it worse. The way that I've been guided, the way that we have here, it does not help you in that way. Yeah, no one taught me to meditate until I was in my. I did that myself. Like, because those things are not here. They're not valued, and without them, I think people get depressed. Just it's my opinion.
No, people are depressed because they don't see the love within themselves. And a lot of times when people think other people are a certain way, they're projecting. So people project their anger, people project their depression, their hopelessness. And so it's a daily process when you're on the seeking path of processing your catalyst, is dealing with the emotions that come in, dealing with your feelings that come in. You know, I that's one thing I've been doing a lot better lately. When something really bothers me, I'll sit down and go, well, why does this really bother me? Is it what the person did? Is it what I interacted? Is it me? Is it my attitude? Is it something coming from me? And then I start looking at things, and then in the end, you really always need, you know, because one of the greatest lacks of spiritual teachings is that I find, especially in the Western cultures, is that lack of love and acceptance of the self. Because once you can really love and accept yourself, you can get over your daily traumas, your daily dramas, because a lot of stuff is just nonsense. You know, you put it on yourself. So you can find that love and acceptance of yourself. Then you can start finding that love and acceptance for others. Then you can start living in faith, start living in hope, you know, knowing all is well, all will be well. And if you really believe that you're the creator and the other self's the creator, and that the creator is love, and at your core, you're love, and you just love and accept yourself, process that catalyst, have hope, then, you know, then this is how, you know, people would come out of depression, you know, and you know, a lot of people don't want to look at things like that, you know, because there's a lot of anger, and they don't want to look at other people as love, and you know, so
as a mirror.
You really, yeah, as a mirror, and then you just really gotta start by giving yourself a break, and once you can start giving yourself a break, finding that love and acceptance for yourself, finding that hope, processing that catalyst, then you can start serving yourself well and others well.
Mm.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Yes.
No, totally.
Oh, thank you so much for being here with us and allowing us to be with you. The question, this may be inchoate, but it has to do with discernment and how to skillfully proceed and use discernment in the face of what might be difficult catalyst or catalysts unfamiliar. How does one hold to the truth of this reality beyond desire and discern what one is seeing or perceiving without an attachment or distortion of one's personal desire? I hope that is clear. Bill?
I am Kuo, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. We would suggest that discernment can begin with each conscious spiritual seeker by using the intellect to look at the various possibilities of how to respond to a difficult situation. When those possibilities have been enumerated, then we would recommend that you move into the true nature of your being, the heart of love. This could also be seen as a type of intuition that you utilize in making a decision as to what your mental faculties, your intellect, have given you as alternatives. This is a means by which you move into the nature, the true nature of your being, which is the heart of the love of the Creator, and then use it to choose your path from those possibilities that you have created with your intellect.
Wow. Is there a further query? Yes, thank you. In light of experiences that I mentioned, if this applies to everyone on some level, this sense of energy or approach, I hope you know what I'm talking about. These experiences I just spoke of, I cannot discern whether they're energetic or material, and I just feel like I just have to love what it is and watch it, is what I'm hearing you tell me. Is that correct?
I am Kuo, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. You are basically correct, for this is a process which you need to utilize within your own free will. To look at that about you has been occurring to you as a sign or a message that you can begin to discern through your conscious intelligence. But making the final decision is that which comes from the heart, for that is the true nature of your being. Your intellect is a kind of computer that gives you information. Your heart is the true nature of your being that discovers the most loving and heart-filled response to any situations that you are experiencing.
All right, great. So, you guys want to reflect on that?
Just keep opening your heart and looking, and you got the option to believe and know that you are loved at your core or not. And then if you can do that and you love and accept yourself, you can love and accept others and know others are loved as well, even though they may not be projecting that at this moment because of the situation, the planet we're on, the density we're in, the veil and everything. So it's always, to me, it's always like giving yourself a break, and then you give yourself a break, then you can give others a break. You can love, open your heart, give yourself a break. Maybe some people think I give myself too much of a break.
Arrest. The thing, I just know too many people that have broken bones talking about breaks too much. So I would not use that terminology if I were you.
Well, I'm a Southern California kid, so
okay. That's how you guys talk, eh? All right.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Be kind to yourself. It reminds me.
How about giving yourself compassion?
Yes, that's a good one. Love your neighbor as yourself. That means you have to love yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. That's the role model. How you talk to yourself in your head. Sometimes you might talk to someone outside like that. Can you imagine that? So you have to be really diligent in being kind to yourself in your own head so that you can be kind to others when you're talking to them.
And when I'm talking about giving yourself a break as well, I'm talking about constantly judging yourself, putting yourself down, and then, and because I've done that for decades, and I find it doesn't really get me anywhere.
Well, a while ago, quite a long time now, I kind of went a bit mad, and I went through a period of cognitive behavioural therapy. And one of the things that I kind of learned throughout the whole process is how kind of neural networks work. And don't get me wrong, I've further learned a load more than pharmacology and everything. But the idea that, my whole life, I'd been thinking things, about myself, about the world around me, talking a certain way to myself. And I never realised that those thoughts that I thought every day, 50 times a day, were pathogenic, were illness, were actual broken parts of my brain. And every time I thought them, I reinforced that neuron pathway, and I made it stronger, and I made the reaction stronger, I made the emotion stronger. Every single time I thought it over and over again my whole life, to the point where I had, completely destroyed any self-esteem, any kind of, anything in me that I felt was good or worthwhile. because I told myself all these little lies and little delusional thoughts for so long that I made that into who I was. So then when I learned like cognitive behavioral therapy and I went through and I kind of worked out why I thought those things, you know, and you have to use discernment. You have to work out what thoughts are good for you and what thoughts are bad for you, why you think that. Is that thought there based on this horrible event? And have you thought all of this that whole time because of that? And if that's the thing that's causing you to think that, then why carry on thinking it? Stop. So then it becomes this policing and censoring your thoughts day in, day out, killing the ones that are hurting you, and to the point where they're all gone, and you're whole again, kind of thing.
Yeah, to me, you're talking about processing your catalyst and just basically reprogramming yourself.
Yes.
That's and you got to do it consciously, and then that takes a lot of self-awareness, self-reflective. You constantly go, nah, am I really this much of a jerk? Okay, I can do better, you know. But it's got to be a conscious effort. Of course, it would have been a lot easier if we were taught this stuff when we were kids, but you know.
I agree, dude. I was going to say exactly that. It's the same as meditation. It's the same as spiritual growth. We're not taught that these thoughts are going to destroy us in 20 years.
But we chose to incarnate in this incarnation in these difficult moments, and we can use these shadow experiences and help heal ourselves. We can definitely help serve others if we have that opportunity and people allow us to serve them.
100%, dude. Like, you know, the fact is, once I'd learned all of this, I went round and told every single one of my friends to learn what thoughts are hurting you.
Yes, and also I wanted to say that there is a divide between like trying to fight or kill in your mind, because that actually only leads to more of the same. So the goal on the service to others path is actually to forgive and love all your thoughts and to integrate them as part of yourself. And so it's not as something else. It's like, oh, I forgive you, I love you, you know, I see that you're hurting, you know, and may you have love and kindness, and, you know, come in here for a hug. We're all one being anyways, you know, and then it assimilates back into yourself. And then, you know, like this is something, like if you have repetitive negative thought patterns, be like, hey, you know, what would be a more useful thing, you know, like the opposite kind of more positive version, you know, and then that would be helpful. Or, you know, just reintegrate with me and we can all love. It's
kind of mad because the second time I did this process, yeah, which is, you know, after, you know, my marriage fell apart and I got all crazy depressed again, I did it more from doing the shadow work point of view, where exactly like you say, you personify those parts of you that you perceive as bad, and you love and you accept them. You don't fight your demons, you hug them. You know, right? And you know, like when Ra talks about negative entities and interacting, you know, if they're negative and they're trying to take away and cause negativity to further depolarize, you know, your best bet is beaming love at them.
Yes.
Because then that repolarizes them towards positivity, and that just like fire, it literally burns them. So, you know, the point is,
gratitude,
that
especially
act of trying to repolarize things towards love is your best weapon, and in any circumstance. You know, there's no need for conflict when love beats everything.
Yeah, and the Confederation actually suggests that if you could kind of rein in your shadow side, you can use it as your transmute it and turn it into your grit and determination. So there's
that's
a lot
kind of that's the same kind of idea that with the shadow work. You know, once you've accepted that part of yourself, you know, you've hugged that demon, then it's under your control. Then it no longer controls you to do damage and to wreck your life. Instead, it becomes a tool, a thing that you can use to make yourself a better person. So yeah, I agree, 100%.
I just wanted to mention that Tucker Carlson recently mentioned that aliens are spiritual phenomenon. like multi-dimensional beings and things like that.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that?
He's not wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
No, this is getting out into the zeitgeist, the lexicon.
Yeah, it was with Joe Rogan. You know, Joe Rogan has really big viewership. It's all over Twitter.
Oh, Joe Rogan is actually
Field's changing, man.
Yeah, Joe Rogan was actually talking about the Bible and what certain things mean in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's kind of crazy. This guy's actually bringing up spiritual concepts.
Yeah, and
starting to question things.
even Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones have been bringing them up. It's like, what? Yeah. Yes.
Well, a lot of those guys have been on the fire and brimstone side of the Bible, but they're actually coming around and kind of looking at the esoteric things as well.
Yeah, and like the Jesus stuff sometimes even.
Which is amazing, in my viewpoint.
Yeah. Yes, Kuo, I had a question. I understand that service to others is not asking for anything in return. I love helping people, and it has become a business of things for me, and I am struggling a bit with charging people money, as I want to serve them and not ask for anything in return. I kind of view it as an energy exchange, but did you have any thoughts about this, or insight for me perhaps on this subject?
I am cool and I'm aware of your query. My brother, in this instance, rather than speaking specifically to yourself and your own experience, where you are uncertain as to what to do, we would speak in a general sense in order to not abridge your free will. When one wishes to be of service to another, it is the wish that is the foundation stone of one's being. The intention to be of service without expecting any kind of return is that which is the pure journey taken by the service to others polarizing entity. When one is in a situation in general where there is the necessity to make a charge of what you call your money or some sort of payment, then we would suggest that you look upon that payment to you as that which can be utilized in further service to others by the way you use it, the way you, shall we say, spend it, so that you are given again that which has come to you in the form of payment and have given it to others who are making their living selling you what they have to offer and what you need. You can look upon the giving and sharing of one kind of gift, be it money, intention, or love, as the ultimate form of seeing the Creator in all. Then you may make your own choices of how this is done.
Okay. Great. You guys have any comments on that? So basically, yeah, go ahead.
The only comment I would say is I think a lot of people have struggled with that concept.
For sure.
So I've heard it called like the light worker's curse or whatever it is, because of the fact that like, and I feel exactly the same way. I feel that if I'm helping, if I'm giving, if I'm being of service, I don't want to charge money. If I'm doing tarot reading, if I'm doing whatever, you know, I don't want money for it. I don't like money. I don't really want money. I don't want money in any regard whatsoever. You can bugger off all of it.
Well, that's your personal take on it.
I know it is. But it's all guided by that same thing. I feel like it's evil.
Well,
why should I be paid with evil for doing
something good? It's the love
good?
of money, right? Not the money itself. And like, how I see it is, like, you know, the royal family has a rule to accept all gifts. You know, it's just a polite thing to do. And if someone's going to offer me money, I'm going to take it and I'm going to say thank you. You know, it's like they're saying in this, it's an energy exchange. If what they have to give is money, then take that. You know, if what all they have to give is gratitude, then take that. You know, so
that's very important in service. The concept that you accept service as well as giving others service.
Yes.
You know, and it's one eternal round, because you don't want to make it, because if you don't accept some service that other people give to you, then they might look at you as not so loving as a person or whatever, and so it can lead to disunity.
I have to say, like I do say I have certain bias in this area, considering that, like, you know, I purposely wanted to live in a shack because I want to avoid money being a part of my life. So but then I would never turn away things, you know. So I do agree. It's just annoying that that's the system.
You know,
You know,
that's true. It's very annoying, but if you can look at it as one, you're getting, and then because if you put the money back into the system, it's just you're keeping that energy going. There's you can see the people in the greed and stuff, and that totally degrades the system. But we don't have to go there. We can be aware of it, but don't let that become part of our energy, because we're loving in our own way. We're giving, we're receiving, we're in gratitude, we're thankful, and we just keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, dude. But then there's things like I watched this thing the other day about how many companies are owned by the BlackRock Vanguard thing. Yeah, and then it had photos of a supermarket aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it had the sections of that supermarket aisle that weren't owned by a company that was owned by Vanguard or BlackRock. There
Wow.
was one product.
There was
One product
What was it?
on the entire like shelving, the entire like row of supermarket shelving. There was one product that came from a family-owned company that I would see you putting your money back into a service to other, like where you're helping by putting your money back in. But the way they've got us cornered, the way I see it, you go and spend that money in a supermarket, you're not helping anybody. You're giving it to the bad guys. Because it doesn't matter what you buy in there.
They have the divine in them
There's
too.
about 3 products in the entire supermarket that isn't made by them.
Well,
But you can also look at it like the people that are buying the stuff, they need the stuff for that week,
and
But
also,
not all of us can live off
what's that
comment.
word? Like the soldier thing, like it's like whatever the responsibility, like it's okay, I was just following orders. What's that called?
that's being lost. But
No, there's a term for it. It's like the diminished responsibility or whatever, because you're just following orders, so it's not your fault that you killed people. They told you to do it.
So
I kind of see that is our responsibility as people to do these things.
so
Otherwise, if you just say, "Oh, but it's okay because it's a supermarket, right? You're helping the people that grow the stuff." Dude, you're giving the money straight to the people at the top. The people that grow stuff get screwed just like everyone else.
But wasn't this the challenge of coming into this incarnation, that we knew these Titans, these STS forces, have cornered everything on planet Earth and are
So
doing
be
more?
the change you want to see, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, and I think the biggest way to do it is just being in gratitude.
And-
Hey, I went to Walmart. I needed some food. I got some. I'm grateful.
yeah.
Hopefully some of that money goes to somebody besides State Street, BlackRock, and Vanguard.
But I really recommend reading this book, Titan: Life of Sir John D. Rockefeller Sr., because it really helped me have compassion and to forgive the Rockefellers, because I understood the context that they're coming from, or that he's coming from, and why he ended up doing that whole monopoly of Standard Oil. And it was, because like when it was all a free market, everyone was losing money. Because there was a huge number of people who were producing at a loss, because they were in debt and they needed to produce something to stay out of bankruptcy. And but by buying up these struggling businesses and then giving them stock or cash, he was both he was helping the whole world, and then he provided everybody with Standard Oil and at the time it was illumination, so he was bringing light to the world. He was literally bringing light to the world.
Dude.
Yeah.
Petrol was a waste product that no one wanted to buy before he started selling it to everybody. nonsense. I'm sure it's a very lovely fluff piece. But
Well-
I'll bet you it's nonsense.
Well,
Just say.
he wasn't the first refiner, but he did have some of the first refineries, and he made a big business on it.
He
But-
bought all the other refineries, dude.
But and,
I gotta agree with Andre that if we can look at, it's just to widen your perspective, because if we look at all the negative all the time, then all we're gonna do is close our own hearts.
yeah,
And
Honestly, look, I'm not doing that. I have love for him. I
Yeah.
love him, but I love him because of the fact I thank him for giving us this hardcore territory for us to play in. Yeah, right. But it doesn't change the fact that it's horrible that he's created this place
No.
to trap so many people in Lucifer land. Yeah,
No,
I love him and thank him for the choice. But that doesn't mean that I should be like, yay, go that guy. Woo, I'm going to give him all my money. No, man.
No, it doesn't change the greed, the control, the manipulation. But you remember, we're supposedly enlightened spiritual seekers, so we know those on the STS path are trying to control and manipulate people into their own pyramids. They run things as a pyramid. The fourth density at negative, fifth density, they're strict pyramids.
yes,
That you are on, and they've got a funneling system in this world that if people get caught up into it, you can be funneled in to one of these STS bottom of the pyramid. So for me, I'm very grateful that I'm aware of what's going on. And I can love and accept it. I can have compassion for it. I'm going to try my best not to participate in it. And if change happens and comes my way, or if I can make change, I'm trying, But my mission is, I think that of a wanderer, coming here, trying to raise the frequency, sending love and light, being love and acceptance, and then trying to, I have, when I do my spiritual mantras and stuff like that, and my meditations, I'm not a great regular, but I always include my intentions, which is to open my heart, to be a service to the Creator and His creation, to my intentions to serve, to find the opportunities in service, to, balance love and wisdom in my service, to let the people have free will who I'm certain, to back away when I have to, or whatever. It's like, because a lot of times, there's not an opportunity to serve. And so, so we're walking this fine line in this incarnation, but we can always be that lighthouse for the Creator to send love and light to the people here. And that includes the STS as well. And the STS will run from people like us because they don't want to have anything to do with the love and the light and the unity.
Okay, I'm curious of an event that I've come to know as the Great Awakening that is at some point in the future, and my question has to do with the readiness for that. From my readings, it seems that there needs to be a certain readiness on the part of the world's population or world events. I don't really know what, but my question has to do with what are some of those inputs that will drive that Great Awakening? What are some of the variables, or in engineering terms, what are some of the metrics that we might use for that? Is it a decision that is based on variables, or is it something else that determines that point in time?
I am Kuo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. The Great Awakening, as you have called it, is something that is hoped for by the Confederation of Planets in the service of the Infinite Creator. And this is what has been hoped for a great period of your time, as you would measure time. It requires mass conscious transformation across what you would see as distances within the heart of one's being. The heart of most beings is not that which has been awakened as yet. For few upon your planet now are conscious seekers of truth that are aware of the heart and its love that flows freely through one from the infinite Creator that is made all there is out of love and light. Thus, we would suggest that you look to groups such as this one and so many other thousands of groups around the world who are conscious spiritual seekers of truth that can offer their prayers or meditations, their actions of love to others that they take in their daily rounds of experience. And in every possible way, plant the seeds of this great awakening in the place where they are in the world in which they live, however large or small. Thus does each entity within the group and all groups together provide the possibility of such a great awakening. Those of Ra suggested that this third density illusion has somewhere between 100 and 800 years to go. And it is our hope that within that time span, that these seeds of service may awaken the entire planet so that it may choose to be of the positive polarity in one fine, strong moment of inspiration.
Very good. Yes.
That's beautiful.
That is. You know, earlier on when we were talking about kind of like, you know, the acts of service that we provide, yeah, I kind of feel that I tried to sow those seeds. You know, that you know, I was saying that like I just tried to kind of show everyone a glimpse of what is there, so they can start asking these questions, so they can start seeking for themselves. You know, so they can start looking deeper in inner, rather than the lies, the Western nonsense forces on you. You know, and I don't know. That's kind of how I see it. That you are planting these seeds in people that will then grow, and then they'll spend years thinking about it and growing, and they'll tell their kids and plant the seeds there. And how long is it going to be before those seeds grow into a forest? Anyway, go on, Andrea. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it reminded me of this thing, basically, that I've read about that apparently on STO planets, what happens is that everyone coalesces around a positive concept, and that's how you get a great awakening. And so, but on Earth, we've had a cycle, or a historic cycle of people coalescing around negative concepts like war or anger or hate or things like that, and then people coalesce around this concept, and then they're destroying themselves, and then like Maldek blew up, you know, because they got to such an extreme fervor of hate. And Mars, you know, became uninhabitable. And so we really need to practice, I guess, coalescing around something positive, and being, when there's something positive, instead of going like, let's run away from that, you know, that's icky and love or something, you say, oh, I like love. Hey, I am going to support this loving and kind, good thing, you know. And then like once people can coalesce around something good, then we actually have a chance of having if it grows big enough, it will turn into a great awakening.
100% agree. And I feel that, like, you know, this is not just a question of ideology or of, you know, I firmly believe in, you know, with Ra's framework, expanding that on a greater consciousness, morphogenic level, where everyone has some intuitive understanding and everyone has some experience of it. Everyone comes in contact with this channeled, or like we said earlier, the triangle, you know, like the, you know, Saint Germain or Ra or your local shaman, you know, like there needs to be a way of us all coming in contact with it all. Now, I think the first step towards that has been the internet. You know, like the internet opening up spiritual knowledge and ideas and philosophies and ideologies worldwide to everyone that can log on, rather than it being just what comes into your library, or, you know, whatever we had when we were kids. I mean, I started seeking pretty early, and, you know, I was very, very limited in what access I had up until the internet. I don't know about you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then like, you know, prior to that point, you know, it was very hard for, I mean, I've only really discovered things in the past, I don't know, 5-10 years that I was looking for 10 years before that. But it's only since I've been able to find the book online and archives.org or wherever else that you access to this information that you're able to put these pieces together. You know, without people coming in contact with something like the Ra thing, you know, well, the word occult means hidden. Yeah, why? Yeah, like why did they hide this from us?
Well,
why is
because
this taught in school from day one? Yeah, why? Because of, like you said, coalescing around negative ideas. Yeah, and like we was chatting about, this whole kind of horrible place they've created for us as a testing ground. If they told us the truth of how it all worked and how we can best use it, that they all know.
Yeah.
Like you know, that Rockefeller dude, when you look at the steps he took, all of those are actually perfectly right spiritual steps. But he did it for him, not everyone else.
Well, I mean, I think you really need to read that book.
I think you really need to stop trusting that book. Anyway.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, cool. Thank you. So I'm basically a happy, joyful person. Okay, go ahead.
I'm only joking, dude. Sorry.
Or that's my intellectual look at the world.
I was going to add.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to add. I was going to jump off of what Andre was saying. In the Confederation, it talks about how we constantly have been following the great ape mentality. You know, like Andre's talking about these coalescing of old ideas. The idea of you protect your own, you take care of you and your family, and then and what that kind of attitude has done, as we had on this planet this whole time, is that makes you and your family kind of enemy and at odds with the rest of the other people and their families. So one great idea that would help coalesce coming in is to get out of the idea that we not only take care and love our family and our own, but we take care of our neighbors or, you know, the other people around us. You know, it's just not us and our families versus everybody. Not have this great ape mentality.
Speaking of the whole great ape mentality, I read this thing the other day saying about one of the earliest things that we've got in all of whatever that show kind of people, human beings moving into a tribe where everyone comes together is somebody having a broken and repaired femur. Because of the fact that back then, yeah, there's no way you'd have been able to survive that without a lot of people around there keeping you alive, supporting you, feeding you, giving you what you needed to get better, right? And it's things like that, the acts of kindness, the helping each other, that are really the defining things that move society and civilization forwards.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, that those things have been taken away because of systems of control. And without those systems of control, people would go back to helping each other and things moving forward and building rather
Not necessarily
than clashing and fighting over resources and nonsense.
I like in decentralized times, like between civilizations, it usually is better for regular people in some ways, in many ways, because they don't have to pay taxes. But on the other hand, they when they're plowing, they do so with a shield on their back because there's no order. You know, your neighbor could come over and shoot you.
But this is where an ideology and getting away from the monkey brain thing is now more relevant. Yeah, because yes, every time through human history, there'd been some guy that'd come and take stuff. Right now, we're still in a position where some guy would come and take your stuff. But we're slowly getting to a point where that might not be true anymore. You know, but that would take a big change in ideology and in consciousness.
The heart. Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing.
Opening their heart, and that's the difference, and that's all that would be necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm a big believer in like anarchistic libertarianism. Yeah, you don't need these systems of law and order telling us what to do and how to live. What we all need is a responsible attitude towards society, and every single person seeing everyone else as the priority, and everyone putting in.
But those are rules. Those are rules.
To one thing that makes everything better. Okay, but that's what I mean.
I,
That's why it's not complete agony. It's libertarian agony, where essentially the systems of control should never ever interfere with personal liberty and free will, which is what like the universal
That would
law
be an
says. You know,
STS way of doing it.
Ra says that the way we have law here is illegal in space.
Yeah. So I'm
well,
okay.
I think Andre's point that we need to have greater ideas to coalesce around that to bring us more into unity is where I hope we are trying to go.
Yeah, like the Anabaptists are a good example of people who have coalesced around a good idea. The Sermon on the Mount. They've basically coalesced around the Sermon on the Mount, which is words of Jesus, and that they have the highest population growth rate of any group, white or otherwise, in the world, and they're the only white people that are increasing in population. So
the Beatitudes are a very, very unifying concept.
Mm-hmm. All right. So can we read the next question?
Yeah.
So I'm basically a happy, joyful person, or that's my intellectual look at the world. But when I look at the world, my heart breaks. I think I need help with that, to understand, how to look at the world the way it is and not let your breaking heart break the rest of you. I don't know. Is that a question?
I totally get that fully.
Mm-hmm.
I feel exactly the same.
Yeah. So,
I am Kuo, and we do perceive a question, my sister. When one looks out upon the world about one must remember that this third density is an illusion. It is an experience of seeming separation from each other, from the one creator, and from the heart of love. And yet, if you are aware that the creator exists within each entity, you are aware that each entity is given the creator a means by which it may know itself better, even in those areas which might seem of a negative or traumatic way. This is a means by which each entity in this third density illusion and in all third density illusions may be of service to the creator. And also, there is the sheer knowledge that the creator exists within each entity. And that at some point, each entity will find within itself that great desire to seek more of what is within the world around it in a spiritual sense, so that it may travel that positive path into service to others and eventually move into the fourth density of love and understanding. Thus, both the seeming negative experiences and the positive are means by which the creator can know itself better, and the spiritual seeker can know the creator better and itself better. So that in the final analysis, shall we say, all is one, all is well, and all will be well.
nice.
Everything is always perfect.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's part of my spiritual mantra. I always go, all is one, all is love, all is well, all will be well.
That's good, man. I like that.
It's straight confederation.
Yeah.
philosophy.
Well, it's for that root chakra. It's for unblocking the root chakra. All is well and all will be well. It's the most straightforward to doing that.
That was actually really, like, I don't know. I just had a weird kind of realization listening to that. Like, we're talking about all these people kind of like, we try to get as many people to just do the work and, get up there as possible. But, yeah, I suppose I've never really considered that Creator might want a large chunk of Earth to go through it all again.
The creator is experiencing itself in endless possibilities.
Exactly.
And
so,
I always go like when it comes to like good and bad, it's like, hey, I'm Hitler, I'm Mussolini, I'm freaking the Night Stalker, but I'm Gandhi, I'm Jesus, I'm Mother Teresa, whatever. So and everything in between, so and that's what we all are. So as one does, we all do. So I mean, and we're in third density, of course. We're not going to sit and allow people torture and murder, and just do whatever they want. But
Hopefully.
we can, some people will be taken out of the incarnation in but if that's what comes down to it. But really, we're the wholeness, the completeness of the Creator, and the Creator is experiencing itself. And if you can love and accept that, and just go, whatever somebody else is doing, no matter how good or bad, like to go, oh, that's the Creator experiencing itself. It's a tough way to perspective, especially in this third density arena. It really is, but it's it's the truth. At least what I think is the truth.
Yeah, I mean, like it totally makes sense where they're like, you shouldn't be trying to preach. You should be like trying to get people to do. No, it's all down to people's free will. Like you can't push this on people. They'll seek if they want to seek, because I'm assuming the Creator really likes Earth on the hardcore game setting, So I reckon he's trying to get as many people so he can enjoy going through another round of, Earth, the game show.
Mm-hmm. So we got like 2 minutes left. We'll probably do the rest next week because there's still like quite a few questions left.
Are we commenting way too much?
Well,
Andre?
it's okay. I think that I have to forgive and love people at the pace that we're going, because before I was trying to rush through it, but it's kind of like, then I think the people don't feel like they get to express themselves as much as they want to, and maybe they don't come back. And so we've had several weeks where there were very few people, and so it's like, okay, I've got to be nicer to the people so that they come back.
Dude, it's not you, man. I was raving last week, man. I meant to kind of log in halfway through and just have all like the lights going and all like
yeah.
But yeah, I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're the most consistent guy.
I can cut back.
Go ahead, Bill.
I can cut back on my commentary if it's not helpful.
No, it is
me
helpful.
too.
It is helpful.
Me too.
I think it's fine. You have to forgive and love the Creator within yourself. And I think that all of you guys had a beautiful contribution to the discussion. And I think that our viewers, also appreciate it because, each one of us has our own unique perspective and our own unique contribution. And our viewers are all different kinds of people, and they may resonate with one of our perspectives more than others. And we are creating this podcast as a service to others. And so having all of your perspectives helps us to have more perspectives and teach more people.
Well, I'm just, thankful to be involved as always, man. Love you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And next time it'll be about Maldek and Mars and Sublogoi and chakra work and
Yay.
green and purple chakras, all sorts of interesting things.
Woo!
All right, guys. So, with that, leave you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, therefore, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite Creator. Adonai.
Love you guys. Love and light.
And ending the stream.